Welcome back to another video. Today's video is going to be how lessons repeat and how to break the cycle of narcissistic abuse. And in this video, we're going to cover how narcissist patterns repeat, how we repeat the cycle of abuse, and how you can break that cycle and take your life back. Comment down below if you can relate to seeing these patterns repeat in your ex and within yourself. But first, I'm Duane, and if you want to learn how to get your life back, break the cycles of abuse, strengthen the relationship with yourself and your kids, start right now by subscribing and clicking the bell so you don't miss a thing. Okay, so the first thing we're going to jump into is how the narcissistic pattern repeats. Typically, a narcissist is stuck at an emotionally delayed age. This happens typically because of childhood trauma, and it just basically traps the person at that emotional age. This is the reason why oftentimes we will think of our ex like we're dealing with a toddler, like we're dealing with somebody who is really emotionally immature and much younger, or emotionally younger than what the age they really are. And they will continue these patterns of behavior over and over and over again. It's one of those things that's just really frustrating. It's weird because it's one of those things that gives you the ability to see it, but it's still hard to see because our brains aren't conditioned to look at another adult and think that they are emotionally delayed or not at the same level as we're at. Now, the thing is, their tactics can change and will change. So in some ways, you can say, well, the pattern, is it repeating? It is repeating, but sometimes they will amp things up whenever things aren't really going the way that they want them to go. But the root goal of what they're trying to do will remain the same, which is basically maintaining narcissistic supply and keeping basically you under control. They're trying to keep everything under control and keep things the way they like them and the way they want them, which oftentimes also means a tremendous amount of chaos, just because typically a narcissistic person feels a lot more comfortable in chaos when they're controlling the chaos, right? If they're controlling it, then they're fine. The other reality of this is they will get worse with age. And if they feel like they are losing control, like I was mentioning before, it will ramp up. So this isn't one of those things where their pattern is going to break, that they're going to get better. Typically, they are going to get worse. And you need to understand that because it can really keep you stuck with them and just prolong the abuse that you're going through. And the reality is, it doesn't matter if it's 2 weeks in or 2 decades in, those patterns will repeat over and over and over again. I've seen that in my own situation, but there's a lot of people I've talked to on the channel and even that I know in real life where it just keeps going. They can be 20 years into a separation and divorce, and if they have to interact with their ex again, it's the same thing. So unfortunately, a narcissistic personality type is going to be stuck in those patterns. They're really, unless there's some traumatic situation that happens, the likelihood that they're going to break that cycle, that they're going to do something different, is incredibly low. And to be perfectly honest, even if something really seriously traumatic does happen to them, the likelihood that they are going to heal from that and make some serious changes and that are sustainable is pretty low. I have seen people who have changed, quote unquote, because of some life traumatic difference, but as soon as they get their life back, it gets back to their normal, they revert right back to those same behaviors. So then this gets into how we repeat the cycles of abuse. So typically, we are looking to resolve a past trauma. This can be typically this is with families, or whenever you come from a family of origin that has a lot of problems, and we're trying to repair those past wounds. So what we end up doing is we end up finding somebody who is like, hey, they're kind of like what I used to experience when I was younger. Let me team up with that person to see if I can finally resolve and make my mommy or make my daddy love me. Unfortunately, that is most of the time how we get into these situations. So if you do not make a change, you will repeat your patterns of behavior. This is why you see people or yourself go through the same situation over and over again. What I mean is you'll see people, it's like, oh, they're in a relationship. Oh my God, it's a bad relationship. They get out of the relationship. They get into another relationship. Oh my God, it's a bad relationship. They get out of the relationship. They go into another relationship. Oh my God, it's a bad relationship. You'll see these patterns repeat. If you see this happening with you, that is a huge indicator that you need to pause. You need to take a step back and go, okay, obviously I'm repeating some patterns. Yes, I'm engaging with people who are toxic, who are causing problems in my life, but I need to take some personal responsibility and start working on yourself to do that. So bottom line is you end up drawing these people and these situations to you. This is a critical thing to remember. So remember that you unfortunately are drawing these people and these situations to you. This is why whenever you get out of these relationships, you are going to feel like, oh my God, I am surrounded by toxic people. There are only toxic people in the world. Keep it in perspective that you've been a magnet for these type of people. So more than likely, a good portion of your support group, your family, your friends, your professional relationships are all going to be these same patterns repeating. But here's the thing, we can choose to do something different. We can choose to break the cycle of abuse and we can get our lives back. Okay, so how do you break this cycle and take your life back? I've broken this down into 3 steps that I think are really the key to really getting your life back. And the first step is to recognize that you're stuck in a pattern. You have to see the problem, realize that you do not want to live this way anymore, and realize that that something's not quite right. And the second part of this is to start to see what is real. Your narcissistic toxic ex will try to do everything to get you to see things their way. It's important to see the actions versus the words and to really see what's going on. Now, this is a really tough phase because oftentimes you're going to be struggling with this because you don't really want to see it. You don't want this to be true. You want it to not be true. So you can get stuck in a mode to where you're trying to cherry pick and looking for those crumbs to help you basically start to get your life back. And the third step is to start to take active steps to take your life back. This doesn't mean that you have to leave immediately or do anything really drastic, but it does mean you have to start working on yourself, getting yourself the help that you need with a therapist or a coach, and really working on your own self-care to get yourself to start to heal. And again, I just want to reiterate that doesn't mean you have to make any drastic changes. That doesn't mean you have to say, okay, this is a complete toxic mess, which probably it is, but that's another point. But just to look at it in a situation and say, okay, you know what? I don't really like the way I feel. I don't really like the way my life is going. I don't like the relationship I have with myself or with my ex. I'm going to start making changes, taking active steps to make things better. And I say that because sometimes when you're in the early part of this, you can do that because you're still not really sure what you're dealing with your ex. And you're like, okay, well, maybe they're not this toxic, but you can take the active steps. Now, I did that in my situation is I was trying to make things better. And even though I think I fundamentally knew something was seriously wrong, I was still working to try to make things better. I was trying to work to see if I could repair the damage of this relationship by also repairing myself. And the thing is, all those 3 steps working together will start to break that cycle and break the pattern that has basically got you stuck in this situation and really propel you to a new, better life. And that is really the key part on this, is you do all 3 of those steps together. And the last step is really one of those iterative steps where you just keep going back, and going back. Now, actually, I guess technically all of them are. You're going to be kind of like cycling back through these and running through again and again and again to where you really start to see what's real. Hey, if you're lucky, maybe the situation with your ex will improve. More than likely, if you're at this channel, you've already realized that that's not really the case. But this pattern, that's funny. I'm talking about taking and breaking a pattern by inserting a new pattern into your life to help you do that. Okay, so let me just hit some things that I think is really important to remember. Breaking the cycle of abuse is not easy. This is not something that happens overnight. This is something that's going to take a tremendous amount of work. Like I was just talking about a moment ago, you're going to have to go through an iterative process to really burn this stuff into your head and to really start to implement new changes and new patterns into your own life. It takes time, and there are many stages, much like the stages of grief that you're going to go through on this. So you can't expect to just heal in an instant. You're going to have to put in the time, put in the work, do the work to really see the results and to start to see these new patterns in your life to start to get better and to break that previous cycle where you were allowing this negative, toxic crap into your life. And here's the thing, if you continue to work on yourself, if you continue to put in the work on improving, work on your healing and improving, it does get better. And the last thing I just want to say is it's really tough when you're in the middle of this to really see that it does get better, that there is a possibility to heal from this and to really make some lasting changes and to detoxify basically your life. It's a lot of hard work. There's a lot of pain associated with it, but it's absolutely worth it. And guys, the thing is that on the other side of this, you have such, it's even hard to explain, because I know whenever I was looking at it, it was hard for me to see way back when I was first starting out on this, the idea of seeing a time when this pain and this frustration and this anger and this bitterness and this hurt would all be gone. But it really does. You really can heal from this, get your life back, start to purge those toxic people from your life, and have a life that's just nothing like you would have ever imagined when you were stuck in these toxic relationships and these toxic stages of life. So try to remember that. If you know somebody who could benefit from this, please share this video with them. If you like this channel, please consider subscribing, and I will chat with you on the next video. Take care.